All right, I'd like to bring in Kathryn Ravey, who is a legal advisor with a Law for Palestine. She joins us now from New York. Kathryn, good to have you on the show. First off, I know that you represent the other side and you're an advocate for Palestinian human rights, but I'm interested to find out more about this claim. On what grounds does Israel feel that UN institutions are skewed against it? I mean, whether it's the General Assembly or the Security Council, does calling for a ceasefire necessarily mean that it is biased towards Israel?
Absolutely not. Israel has been committing war crimes for years and facing systematic impunity to the UN. The UN has been a threat on international peace and security for a long time. And we should remember that the Palestinian cause represents a permanent responsibility for the UN because it created this problem. And that is something the UN General Assembly has confirmed in several resolutions. And equally, the UN created Israel. So without it, Israel would not have had the established legitimacy it enjoys today. So it is a bit hypocritical that they would then accuse the UN of not backing them. Um, the UN is trying to intervene in what is a genocide, and Israel is trying to fight back from that with whatever they can. And they are succeeding thanks to its allies, namely the United States, who has protected it in the UN and on the global stage.
Kathryn, I know that you sort of highlighted some milestones, but when you look at the institutional dysfunction of the United States, it has been apparent for some time, and we've seen increasing politically motivated votes, especially within the Security Council, sort of dictate what the body can or cannot pass. It's not only with what's happening now, but we've also seen it with Ukraine, Russia, and other conflicts as well. Do you feel that this is going to be a make or break moment for the UN, or are we way past that?
I think the UN is an institution that relies on political will and the functionality of states to enact its charter. So the UN can't be looked at as an institution that is able to just stop wars and stop atrocities, though we would like it to do so. Its charter, of course, upholds maintaining peace and security for the globe. But at its founding, the Security Council, the implementation of the Security Council, undermined much of what the United Nations was ever going to be able to do because it provided a veto power to a select few nations who had a lot of economic and diplomatic power at the time and has remained so. And this was a very conscious choice by its founders to be able to largely dictate the overall world action, and this is really a form of neoliberalism as well, and we're seeing that now as we have in the past. I think the difference between the response to Ukraine and Palestine tells you all you need to know about this conflict. I mean, there are several systemic issues behind it, including racism. However, states were much more willing to engage when it came to Russia. I mean, we saw sanctions being called, we saw resolutions being brought to the ICC, and we've not seen that to this scale in Gaza. And as much as that is a failing on the UN's part, it's mostly a failing of states, and states need to be held responsible for their own accountability and obligations towards instilling human rights.
Okay. Kathryn Ravey, thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World. Do appreciate it. Thank you.